Okay, fam, it is Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day, 7:36 p.m. It is time for me to get my life together and get unstuck. I can't take it anymore. It is time. I'm finally at a place to where I have no travel for the next 4 weeks. I have no weddings. I have no nothing. So now I finally get a moment to sit, sort my stuff out, and get myself together. Because when I tell you these past 2 months have been a struggle, it has been a trying struggle. I'm very grateful for my opportunity to travel and to be able to do makeup, because that was always my dream in my early 20s when I started into cosmetology school and becoming a makeup artist and hairstylist. And it's happening. And two things can be true. Mission accomplished. I am tired. So between August and now, July and now, I've been to Jersey, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Nashville, Arizona. Yesterday, had a wedding. So I feel such a sigh of relief, because it has just been everything in me to just make it through and see the finish line. And then, of course, life is always gonna life, right? I've definitely been going through a lot of just very, very difficult personal challenges, just things in my home life. So I'm to the point now where I'm like, okay, girl, you gotta, let's reset. Let's get yourself together. So first things first, I've got some notes here because we got to stay on track, all right? So this is life in the mid-30s. So one thing about me, this time of year, every year, I always do what I call a life audit. And so basically I will look at everything from the whole year and say, okay, what's working, what's not working, what do you need to adjust, and go from there. And I always get, I'm not gonna lie, I always get a little down, because especially when you're working and you're grinding so hard and things just aren't going the way that you want. And I am in a place to where it's not a matter of me doing these things for 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. I've been on this journey for 12 years as a beauty professional and going on 9 years as far as content creation. So at some point, it's just kind of like, we got to figure some things out. So first things first, at the beginning of the year, I was in a very strange place. And I still feel like I've just been going back and forth a lot. But at the beginning of the year, God told me, rest, get somewhere. There's a fly in here and I'm about to lose it. I was prompted to rest because I needed to. Last year was absolutely horrendous and I was just tired and burnt out. So I did my resting. And something that I realized is when God renews you, it causes your old flesh to die. And that's why I was struggling so hard at the beginning of the month, because it's almost like, it's a tug of war with your old self and the new self that God is doing when you go through the process of sanctification. When you go through the process of sanctification, it is just that, a process. For me, I thought it was okay, God convicted me. I understand I need to make some adjustments. I cannot afford to be lukewarm. Let me just adjust. And the thing about that is, I also thought that I needed to be a certain way in order for God to renew me. That is not at all how that works. That is God's job. I cannot, it's just, all you have to do is just come to God, say, hey, here I am. I love you. I accept you. I am open. You do what you do. And the thing is, you need to understand that when you are coming to the Lord like that, and especially a prayer that I have been praying is, God, I desire what you desire. Remove anything or anyone in my life that you know is not in alignment with where you want me to go. Let me tell you something about that prayer. That prayer, when you say it and you mean it, get ready to buckle up, because I feel like I have been on this tug of war, this up and down for basically this whole year. So the beginning of the year, it was just rest, rest. Okay, cool. Springtime, I'm understanding. My eyes are open. Okay, cool. I'm grinding. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And then as of lately, it's like, oh my God, okay, I'm down again. And it's just that it's the letting go. It is the letting go of it's letting go, and it's being obedient. And again, it goes back to that prayer when you come to the Lord and you say, hey, I'm open, I'm ready, do what you do. He gonna do what he gonna do, but you're also gonna need to pray and say, hey God, have some grace with me, which thank God, he is gracious. It's like, I understand what you're doing. I'm just struggling a little bit. So be with me, provide me with your wisdom to help me just go through this thing. Another thing that I had talked about at the beginning of the year was also just me struggling with time management. And I think it was just because for so long I have been going and going and going and going. And I just fell flat on the floor. And I realized that the struggle of me just dealing with time management was just a matter of me trying to do too much in one day. And here's the thing, I am not old. And I feel like when people say, oh, you're old, it's a mindset. Age ain't nothing but a number. I'm wise enough to understand that 35 is not 25. And how I was operating at 25 in my 20s, I cannot operate at 35 and in a month at 36 at that capacity anymore. It's not healthy and it does not serve me, because the big thing is I am not in that season anymore. And I've had to accept the fact that I am in a different season and accept the current state of my life. And I think this is a hard thing for a lot of people to do. First of all, you need to have some ownership, because there are some things that are out of your control, but then there are some things where it's like, if you're in a little bit of a pickle, it might be because of a bad decision or whatever the case may be. So own it, and then you have to accept it. It's like, okay, this is where I am in life. Now, what are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do? One of the things that really just got me thinking hard as well is I came to the realization that I'm not who I used to be spiritually, and my priorities have changed. And again, when God starts to renew you, you don't have to work hard to, well, let me not say that. When God truly starts to renew you, things that you used to have interest in, things that you used to do, it'll just slowly start to just fade away. It'll just start to not be a big deal to you. And that's what started happening to me. And so when that started happening, it almost kind of caused a little bit of an identity crisis too, because I'm just kind of like, well, this is what I know. This is who I am. But as of late, I have no desire to do any of those things. What is happening to me? That is God doing what I asked him to do. Oh, I want this fly to go away. I realized my lips are so chapped. I put some lip gloss on. I was looking crazy. Okay, so something that I had noticed about myself during the springtime, as I just started really studying and getting into the Word and working on my prayer life, is that I had a very significant, I was calm, and I was no longer striving to, I gotta do this, gotta do that. And I think the thing is, what people fail to realize is we're not to be strong. People get that twisted with, oh, don't have any goals, just be out here frolicking and not, no, that's not what it is. But just to be in this constant state of strive, hustle, grind. God did not create us to be a slave to striving, to be a slave to work. And I was definitely a slave to those things. So to not have that need to strive, I'm not gonna lie, that was very difficult for me. But I accepted it, because at the same time, while it might have been difficult, a lot of peace came over me, because I felt like I didn't have to accomplish, I didn't have to strive, I didn't have to make myself worthy, because the fact that I am made in God's image and that he loves me, like that's enough within itself. That alone is enough. So understanding that caused me to slow down in that particular season, because it was definitely needed. Now, here we are, fast forward September. We got 4 months left in the year, and I feel like I'm just now getting started. old me would have said, oh my gosh, you're so lazy, this is a late start. No, it's not a late start. Typically at the beginning of the year, I'm the new year, fresh start, let's go, let's do it, hit the goals, go, rah, rah, rah. No, man, I've been chilling. The first half of the year, your girl has been chilling. And I didn't really start like getting into the groove of things, honestly, probably until end of May, June. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm awake. Let's do the thing. So the first thing that I am doing to just get myself together, get myself on point, get myself unstuck is ask myself, what can I do to show up for God? Because that's the key. I personally feel like I'm a baby Christian. I have been a believer for a long time. So I was definitely the person who would like look at a devotional here and there, but I sit down and actually read the Bible. I'm to the point now where I don't need a devotional in order to read the Bible, which is a beautiful place to be. So right now I've already gone through the entire Gospels. I think I'm going to go back over the Gospels again because there's just something about the Gospels for me. If you want to understand the model for life and how you're supposed to live, read the Gospels. We are to model Jesus. Now, we will never come close to him, but if you don't know how to live, Jesus is the blueprint. So I love the Gospels for that. And right now I am in the book of Acts, and Acts is very interesting to me to see basically what happened after the Gospels, you know? So seeing, you know, the role that Peter takes on, and then, you know, we get introduced to Paul and how Paul was before. He was out here, you know, running amok on people and stoning people. And then, you know, he got a glimpse from heaven and he was blind for a moment. And then, you know, God is to a full-on transformation. And now Paul is out here spreading the gospel. Then he meets the homie Timothy. It's just really fascinating to see, like, basically life after Jesus and how the disciples just kept going on and taking the word and spreading it all over the place. So in the book of Acts right now, so my way for showing up for God is making sure that I spend an hour a day with God, because this is where I went wrong. Now I feel like I'm in a place spiritually where I have grown so much, and it's even to the point where in my personal life and even now with my business, I'm getting ready to do some massive just rebranding and restructuring my business, because my business has been a huge area in my life where I've been very stressed out about. I've had a lot of stress about my business, trying to figure out some things and praying a lot, making transitions, figuring out what to do away with, what to keep. Like I said, being a business owner is so over glamorized, and especially in the beauty industry, I'm just kind of like, is it great? Yes. However, it's a lot happening, but making sure that God is number one in everything in my life. So in my marriage, in my personal life, in my business. And so for me, spending an hour a day with him looks like this. So in the morning, I'll have my quiet time. So 20 minutes of that. Midday, I might listen to worship music, 20 minutes of that. Nighttime, I'll read the Bible. And the thing is, like, I don't do those specific things. Like, this has to be done in the morning. Like, I'll flop it. Like, sometimes in the morning, if I wake up and I'm just not in the headspace to read the Bible, then I'll just lay there and pray. I'll put on some worship music or just sit in quiet. Have you ever just sat in quiet with the Lord? Now, I am someone who does not have a problem sitting in silence by myself. I am an only child. So with that being said, I understand that off the rip, I am not a normal person. I like quiet. I like being by myself. In fact, I realize as of late, as I am progressing in life, just some things about me are changing. I can't stand being overstimulated. I do not like it. And when I'm overstimulated, I get very, very stressed, and that kicks my anxiety up. I've been battling with anxiety a lot recently, and I realized you are overstimulated. And when I get to the point where I'm overstimulated, it's mainly because my life is too loud. Things are too noisy. I'm also an auditory learner. And so with all of these things of learning myself and understanding myself, I'm overstimulated. I can't hear because things are too loud. And when I can't hear God. And that's when I get myself in a tizzy and I just feel crazy. So showing up for the Lord an hour a day, 20 minutes in the morning, after at night has been great. And then also on the other hand, I need to ask myself, what can I do to show up for myself? In this world, the culture the way that self-care is basically shown to us is self-care, buy the bag, get the mani, get the pedi, get the massage, do this, do that. And while there is nothing wrong with those things, the world is teaching you to be very self-indulgent. And if you go back and you read the Gospels and you want to model your life and let Jesus be the blueprint for how you live your life, he was not self-servient. We are here to help one another and serve each other with our gifts. So the fact that the world is very self-indulgent and it pushes that, I just want y'all to be mindful, because at the same token, I'm not saying don't take care of yourself, but if it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just out here doing me, I'm doing whatever feels good, just because something feels good doesn't mean that it's right. One more time for the people in the back. Just because something feels good doesn't mean that it's right. That's how the devil gets you. So be careful with that. So for me, showing up for myself looks, what are some things that I can do at night to set myself up for success the next day? So again, this goes back to time management. My day and my schedule, it's different every single day. So depending on how many clients I have in salon that day, or am I going to salon that day, or do I have like something that I need to edit? Am I doing back-end business stuff? When you have your own business, there's always something to do, and your day to day looks different. And then also on top of that, like, what time am I going to the gym? So I fit everything in, but I also understand that if I can go ahead and look at my schedule the night before and jot things down, that way when I wake up the next morning, I don't have to waste an hour and a half sitting there twiddling my thumbs trying to figure out what I'm going to do. For me, that is showing up for myself, because I feel like when you don't plan, you are planning to fail. And I can't do that. That is what was hanging me up, was before I wasn't planning the night before. I would just wake up in the morning and it would literally take me some days an hour and a half just to plan. And by the time I look up, I'm like, crap, it's already noon. Then I feel bad about myself because I'm like, oh, I'm a lazy bum. I haven't done anything. I've wasted time planning, trying to do all these things. And also just trying to figure out, is this necessary? Is this one task right here? Is that a necessary task, or is that a waste of time? Is this going to give you a return on your investment? Is this going to get you one step closer to the goal? Is this going to help move the needle forward? Because if it's just some random task for you to check off your to-do list, which, hello, that's me, I'm that girl, quit it. Give yourself, okay, what are the top 2 things, the top 2 priorities, 3 priorities I need to get done for the day? These are my priority. Everything else is extra. Also, if it's a task that maybe you can delegate to someone else in your household, maybe your significant other, a roommate, a friend, a child, whatever the case may be, especially when it comes to household tasks, absolutely. Also, taking a look on Sundays at my whole week. That helps me, because like I said, when I have, my lifestyle is very different because every day is different. So it's not good for me or wise for me to just look at what's going on the day before. I need to see what's going on the whole week. And then as the week goes on, I can plan myself out for the night before. So I'll look at the week, I'll see what's going on, I'll jot down things. And then as I'm sitting down the day before, I'll look at the things that are on that weekly to-do list, and then I'll just place them where they need to be. The next thing, having a Sabbath day. I have not been successful with this. Sabbath, in a way, that's not giving Pharisees. That's not legalism, where it's just like, oh, I'm doing Sabbath, look at me, blah, 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 I'm following the law. I think sometimes people think that Sabbath has to be on Saturday, and if you were in the beauty world, then you know that's just not. Saturdays are our most busy day, but picking a day of no work, nothing. This is something that I have learned in the book, oh my gosh, what's the name of the book? The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry talks about this, and I've been struggling with this. The first Sabbath day that I had, I felt like a crackhead in rehab. I was twitching, I was sitting there, I wasn't on my social media, I wanted to get on my laptop. It was very, very difficult, but what that revealed to me is you got a lot of work to do still, and that's okay, because the Lord's with you. He gonna help you through it and work it out. But it revealed to me that, man, I'm a slave to work, and that is not what the Lord intended. Like I say all the time, if God, who didn't have to, if God rested on the 7th day, what makes you think that you can keep working and hustling around the clock? You can't. It's not healthy. So have I been successful with every week having a Sabbath day? No. And it's been very tricky when I have to travel because there's just always so many different things to do, different tasks. But something how I'm starting off, because I like to set myself up for success. And this is what I do with any new nutrition clients that I get, or if I'm just giving someone advice, set yourself up for success, okay? Okay, I'm not in a place to where I can successfully do a full on Sabbath day. Let me do a half Sabbath. All right, so whatever day of the week works best for me, works best for you. On this day, the first half, I ain't doing nothing, or maybe the second half of the day, I'm not doing nothing. And then gradually work your way up to the point where you can do a full day. This next one, this might be like not groundbreaking to most of you, but for me, stop trying to clean my whole house in one day. I am someone who does not do well in clutter. I don't do well in chaos. And as I progress in life, clutter and chaos in my home provides nothing but overstimulation and then an anxiety attack. So trying to clean my house in one day did nothing but overwhelm me. So what I started doing was breaking the task up throughout the week. So basic daily tasks, dishes, dishwasher, sweeping the kitchen floor, like the main living quarters everybody lives. But on this day, this is when I'm gonna deep clean the kitchen, do the cabinets and mop the floors. But then on this day, I'm gonna clean my bathroom. Then on the next day, I'm gonna dust the living room. I am at a place with my lifestyle where cleaning the whole house in one day is just not gonna happen for me, and it does nothing but cause me stress. So breaking it up helps me a ton. This next thing, again, I understand that I am blessed. I understand I get to make my own schedule. You still got to pay the cost to be a boss. And the grass ain't always greener. Something that has helped me a ton is no training on work days. Whenever I have to train on work days, first of all, if I don't go in the morning, it's all I think about while I'm at work. And by the time I get off of work, if I've been working, standing on my feet for 6 to 8 hours, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. And I realized that in order for me to have a significant lift and get one day closer to my goals in regards to my bodybuilding journey, I had to set my day up appropriately. So those 2 main days during the week when I am in the salon, I am not training on those days. And also my body is tired. Like if you work in the beauty industry and you happen to be a bodybuilder, like shout out to my girl, Denise. I love her so much. She is an amazing makeup artist. She's my favorite makeup artist, but we talk about this because, you know, in prep and working and standing and doing, it is a lot. And then especially I realized on weekends when I am working a show, I'm up at 3 or 4 a.m. Like the last show I worked Arizona, I was already up for 9 hours by the time noon came, and I was behind on water, I was behind on meals. So I'm already up, and then I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, I'm already at 12K steps. Sit down. It's a lot on the body. This next one, physique changes. My physique has not been the same in over a year. I noticed this after my last show last year, and I was going through my reverse, and my clothes have not fit me properly in over a year. And even post-show, when I was lean, my clothes are not fitting me properly. And it's because how you enter a prep, your physique, and how you come out, you might have a body recomp. You might have been one of those unicorns that puts on muscle when you are going into a prep. Some people are that unicorn. That does happen. That does happen to me. Some people who are, you know, their genetics, they just have a little bit of an easier time growing. That is me. And so people will go back and forth and say, oh, you can't grow in a prep. Absolutely, because when you are low calories, ain't nobody growing when you are low calories. But at the beginning of a prep, like the first like 4 or 5 weeks of prep, calories aren't significantly low. You know what I mean? So if you're still gunning and you're still pushing hard in the gym, if you are that person and you have those genetics, you can still grow. I'm that person. I have those genetics. So I noticed last year, my clothes were just weird. Like nothing was fitting weird. And then by the time January came and my whole life fell apart, and then body fat was coming on because I was not training. I wasn't moving my body at all. Now I'm just kind of like, okay, now we have more muscle on the frame on top of more body fat. Nothing has fit me properly for a year. And even now, how many pounds have I lost so far this prep? I think I'm like 9, maybe 9, going on 10 pounds down now. And even still, things don't fit properly. So that tells me I need to do a wardrobe overhaul. I just want to get rid of everything that I have in my wardrobe and start over, because I hate going into my closet and when it takes me a long time to try to find something to wear. I don't like that. I want my closet to be a capsule closet. I am a basics girly. I like neutrals. I don't do trendy things. The majority of the time I'm wearing neutrals and black because that's my uniform. That's what I like to wear. That's what I feel comfortable in, and that's what I wear to work. And I need to just go through, get rid of things that I don't like, get rid of things that don't fit, and just do a whole overhaul. This next one, marriage, okay? Being honest to myself and my husband about what my needs are. Again, I'm not in the same season. I'm in a different headspace. I'm growing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And this was something that I had to accept, because I used to be just like not a needy person. And I don't think I'm a needy person now, but just being able to address to him is like, hey, this is where I'm at. I have these needs. Can you please help me? My husband's always happy to help me, but at the same time, if I don't open up my mouth and stop being so freaking prideful, because that's all it is pride, and say, hey, honey, I need your help. Can you help me? That's going to just take so much stress off of me. So I'm very blessed and grateful to have a husband that is happy to help me and do whatever it is and I ask him to do. But it's just more so, it goes back to a pride thing, pride and ego. And you know what comes after pride? The fall. So if you were a prideful woman, especially if you were a prideful wife and you're out here, I don't need no help, I can do it all by myself. No, you can't. Why do you think God made Adam and Eve? You can't do it by yourself. You were never intended to do it by yourself. And also, your husband wants to help you. That's how men are designed. So, not going to get on a whole marriage soapbox. Next up, Fridays, cleaning out my fridge, making a list of groceries, and then if I have to, get them delivered to my house. Again, I was just talking to Alexis about this morning. I'm at a place in my life where I have spent so much of my life being uncomfortable. Baby, I want comfort whenever I can get it. For me, I hate grocery shopping, especially Costco. I'm going to avoid Costco like the plague if I can possibly do so. So that means paying a little extra for delivery. Don't care. Because here's the thing, that's how the wealthy do it. They will pay for convenience and have someone else do the other thing, so that way they can use their brain, stay in their zone of genius to focus on what they're doing, because what they're doing is going to get them what? A return on their investment. It's going to get them one day closer to the goal. It's going to help push the needle forward. So me, if I am able to that week to get my groceries delivered, I am going to do so, because that is going to suck up at least 2 hours of my day, because going to the grocery store, walking, just sitting in that eats up my time. So that is something that I will do if I'm able to. It's super helpful. And on Fridays, just being super intentional, cleaning out the fridge, making a grocery list, and then going from there. And last but not least, new hobbies that aren't beauty and fitness related. I didn't realize how important this was, because again, beauty started off as something fun for me as a hobby, and now it's business. Fitness started off as something that's fun for me, bodybuilding, and it's a business in a way of it's part of my personal brand. I have the Girl Gainz podcast with one of my best friends, Alexis. I have a sponsored suit company. I'm a sponsored ambassador for Legion. Oh yeah, that's new. So I'm officially a sponsored ambassador for Legion. Love their supplements. I use their plant-based protein, because before I was using one company. However, my big hang up with that was that I was getting that from there, but I couldn't get all my other like basic essentials that I need, like my vitamins and whatnot. So happy Legion has a great plant-based protein that I can get my essential vitamins from there. So if you are new to Legion supplements, you can use code Amberp, gets you 20% off your first time purchase. Or if you're a returning customer, you can still use my code, and what will happen is you will start to rack up loyalty points, and that means you'll be able to save money later. So when your hobbies turn into business, it changes things. So 2 hobbies for me that are not beauty and fitness related. Writing. I have been writing a lot. And it started off with journaling and then just me brain dumping my thoughts, and it's so helpful and it's so therapeutic. I love it. And reading. I love, love, love reading. I prefer reading on my iPad, believe it or not, which is funny because, I'm a tangible book is always, I don't know, I felt like that was just a pinnacle, but because I am always on the go and I travel a lot, I have found that it is easier for me to have it on my iPad. I have an iPad mini, so it's the perfect size. So those are my current hobbies that I've been doing, and I don't plan on turning either of those into a business. Not that I planned on doing it with the other ones, but those are my hobbies, and it's just nice to have something that's not beauty or fitness related. So that's all I got. That's how I'm getting my life together and getting unstuck, because I have been beating myself up. I have been down, just the stress and the worry. And it just goes to show also that that is an area in my life where I'm not trusting God. And that was a hard, hard, hard pill for me to swallow. But you have to have those gut checks with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. If you can't be real with yourself, you're definitely not being real with God, and you can't be real with anyone else. And there's no point in not being real with God, because baby, he already know. He already knows. So that's what I'm doing. Gonna hold myself accountable. If maybe you are in a situation to where you've been stuck and you're like, yo, Amber, I need a little accountability. The AmFam, we can be each other's accountability. And just, if you can do one thing to get you one step closer to where us as women, we feel like if we can't get all the things done in one day. And again, look, did God create the world in one day? He didn't do it in one day. So have some grace towards yourself. We're getting unstuck. Like Sarah Jake says, girl, get up. All right. So thank y'all for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know down below. Have a great day, a great week.